finally ready after what feels like years, but now it's actually only been a couple of days. Finally ready to call this setup done. So, and ready. Okay, so my 2024 setup for my daily planner is ready. Ta-da! There's no like huge reveal. You've seen all of this already, especially in my 2024 planner lineup. Well, starting from my 2024 planner lineup video. And since that time, I've gone through, set everything up exactly the way I want it to be, ready for January 1st, 2024. And getting right into it, I did have this clipped. I'm going to clip it back and I'm going to walk you through everything that we have here. First things first though, this cover, as I explained, is a Vanderspec or VDS Nomad. It's a Nomad Complete. Yes, I believe that's what it's called. Or Special Nomad. No, it's a Nomad Complete, I think. It just means I have a strap and we have pockets on the inside. So that's what this is. The outside is nubuck leather and it's in the Ecume color, E-C-U-M-E, and the inside is Janet leather velvet undyed. So that's what's on the inside, and it's just the typical layout that you get with the custom. So that is the cover that I'll be starting off 2024 in. And as I explained in the 2024 lineup video, I designed this to not have a back pocket, to not have any strings. So it's in here just as a regular planner cover, like notebook kinds of cover, similar to a codex. So that was the goal. And getting into it, I just have my January card, the business card that comes in the Sterling Ink subscription kit. So this is the one that goes with the January kit and the January designs, and then the die cut that closes the tissue paper on the outside of the subscription kit. And here is the little mini calendar, which usually I will stick right here. I don't typically reference it, but that's where I normally put it. For right now though, I'll just leave it over here on the left until we actually get into 2024. So that's what I have in the pockets. And then these are just the Vanderspec cards that come in it. And over here, well, this front cover is the vellum from the Sterling Ink subscription kit back in, I believe, August of 2023. I'm not 100% sure, but it's beautiful and I love it. It has sort of these greenish, bluish, grayish tones that I'm really vibing with at the moment. And right underneath there, I have my vellum that I also had in my 2023 setup, just a name kind of plate that I made for myself, similar to the Diptyque candle or Diptyque brand logo. And I made this in Photoshop, I believe, and I'm pretty sure you could probably make it in Canva. I had this on a piece of vellum and I just tipped it right in here. And this is the front page of the planner, along with that little flyleaf sort of page that kind of is glued together to the front cover. And on the back of that, I put a list of the 2024 holidays from Hey Planner Girl. So that's what I put there. This is a freebie. If you go to her site, you can download that. And I was really glad that I found a freebie in standard TN size. Last year and the years previous, I actually made for myself a year on one page calendar in the standard TN size. Again, I did it in Canva or Photoshop or something, and I just put the calendar in and shaped it to the size that I needed and printed it out. So anyone could do that, I'm sure, but since this is a planner made to be the standard TN size, it already comes with the 2024 year on one page. So that is extremely convenient for me. But I just put the holidays for the year on the left hand side, the year on one page on the right hand side. I don't really reference this page all that much, and I don't actually use it to note any dates, but who knows, that might change. So then the next spread, you get 2 blank pages, and this is where I chose to put my vision board, kind of. I don't really like to call it a vision board. I feel like it's vibes. We're setting vibes. We're setting the tone for the year. This is just kind of what I'm on. Like I said, I'm into the blues, so I've got a lot of images that I taken from Pinterest. And the blues, I have some quotes and some just daily reminders. And actually, these photos are mine. 3 of these photos are mine. From my Instagram page, and I just put them in here. I felt like they went really well with the color scheme that I have going on, and I used Canva for this to put together sort of this vision board, and I printed it out on regular copy paper and just stuck it right in here with some adhesive. I do have a tutorial from my 2023 setup showing exactly how I make these collages in Canva using the free version. So feel free to check that out if you want to see how to do that. So I put this in here, and like I said, it's setting the tone. These are the vibes that I'm going with for 2024. It's just a good place to use this space. Otherwise, it's just a 2-page grid layout, just blank nose pages. And I just wanted to put something decorative in it so that, you know, when I'm opening up my planner and really getting into it, I see something pretty. So the next spread is actually the goal breakdown layout from the Common Planner. And I'm going to be doing my goals completely differently this year, which I will provide a video on. It's kind of like an extensive process I'm going through at the moment. So I don't need them to be in here. So what I decided to use this for is a swatch page. I'm not sure if I will need to expand on this, you know, throughout the year. We will see. I have all of my Tombow markers here. I have some Pentel sign pens here, some Rytag brush pens here, my stamping inks here, and these are all mild liners. I do plan to label everything in terms of like saying what they are exactly, but at the moment I did write down the actual names of the colors and the markers, well, at least the ones that have, you know, colors and names. So I know for the most part what they are. And I really do love to have a swatch page inside of my planner, because I find that, especially with Tombow markers and other markers, depending on the type of paper, the colors actually show up a little bit differently. So I like to make sure I have them swatched on the type of paper I'm using in my planner. While I could have just cut this out of a previous year's planner and like tipped it in or glued it in, which I have done in the past, I decided for this year to just do a whole new one and stick it in here. And it's a good way for me to use this spread, since otherwise it would have gone unused. And also, I don't have to put one in my notes pages, which I would prefer to reserve for all of my dailies and other collections that I'll have going on throughout the year. So next is where we get into the quarterly pages, and I went through in the overview and kind of explained that I wasn't sure exactly what I'm going to be using with this spread. I'm still not sure what the heck I'm going to use for this spread. I did decide on the right hand side where you have the perpetual calendar or the calendar index, whatever you choose to call it, that I'm going to use each section for my swatches for the month. So I typically like to pick out some washes and some markers and some inks that coordinate with the current month's subscription kit or whatever deco I'm choosing to use for the month if it's not a subscription kit. So I did that for January already, and that's what I filled in the January section. And I will be filming my actual January plan with me right after this video, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. But I feel like this will look really pretty after everything is all filled in, after all, you know, these other months over here. On the left hand side, I used some stamps to just stamp out the months. So at the top, there's a section labeled priorities, and then you have one for January, February, March. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, since this is kind of like a more creative spread or something that just is really pretty to look at. I was thinking I may do maybe like a photo collage summarizing each month, sort of, and just stick it into each box, and I would likely print that off onto some type of like thin copy paper just so that it doesn't take up a lot of space. What would I write up here, or what would I use this top priority section for? No idea just yet. So I'm sure those ideas will come and the use for this spread will evolve throughout the course of the year. So of course, stay tuned because I'll definitely be sharing all of that as it comes up. For the time being, I did stamp out all of the months in each of those month boxes for the entire year. And right after that is where you get into the monthlies. And the monthlies in the Common Planner go from December 2023 to January 2025. I will not use December 2023 in this book because I like my planners to go from January 1st to December 31st. So I'm not even going to bother using this for, you know, the December monthly. What I would use it for, I'm leaning toward using this to plot out my like ideal routines or my ideal schedule for like each month. I did something similar in my 2023 planner and I have it on a spread. I may do something similar here. I do feel like all of the details won't get worked out until I'm finished going through all of my goal stuff. So that's when I would come in and fill this out. For the time being, I am just using it to park a few sticky notes. And I did order these smaller ones. They're about like around 1-inch diameter. I ordered these all from Poi and Hun, specifically because they fit these smaller calendar boxes of the Sterling Ink Common Planner very well. So just like I won't be using the December 2023, I likely will not be using the January 2025 calendar page. So I may do something similar, using it to plot out some kinds of routines or for some other kind of purpose. But in the meantime, I did put a little sticky note on each calendar page, and this serves as kind of like my future planning. So I don't future plan directly on the monthly necessarily. I just like to wait until that month gets here in case things change. But leading up until that time, if there are dates that crop up, for instance, for May of 2024, I will write it on this little transparent sticky, also from Poi and Hun. So I'll just write it on here and leave it here until the month gets here. And then when I'm ready to fill out the actual layout, that's when I'll plug in all the appointment dates and any information that I need. At the moment, I do have a little sticky note on the January spread, January 2025. And here's where I'll put any dates for 2025 if they come up. So right after this, you go into the weeklies. I will be setting up my weeklies in the January plan with me. Haven't done it just yet. I am still toying with how I'm going to use this layout exactly. So since these columns are a bit narrower than I'm used to, that'll take some adjusting, but also that gives me a free column over here on the left. So I have no idea how I'm going to use it. I imagine also because the columns are narrower, my list that I usually like to keep at the bottom probably may span 2 columns as opposed to just 1, just to make sure I have enough writing space, because I might prefer to go across the column as opposed to making like one task cover 2 lines. We'll see. I'm just going to test some things out and see how it goes along for the year. And then just after the weeklies, we get into the notes pages. But yes, so it goes until that last week of 2024, which is like only 2 days of 2024, and then the rest for 2025. So I actually wonder if I would use this in here. I was going to say, I don't know if I would start this week in a new planner. I probably would, so I would be double planning since it has maybe, 2 days from the previous year. That's likely what would happen. So I won't use this for anything else, but it goes right into the notes pages. And I've set up what I will use as my index. For 2023 and years previous, I have used an index. It doesn't fill up at all, like hardly at all. There will literally maybe be like 5 to 10 items on my index. So I'm sure I will likely not need more than this one page, but I do have this page and also this page underneath the vellum that I tipped in, which matches the one that I have in the front. So I have this available. So the space is available should I need it. And I just took my little sticky note showing my key, took it from the 2023 planner and stuck it right into here. So that's what typically just gets parked onto this page. And I will index things that I write down throughout the year within my notes pages. So any collections that I come up with or any lists or things that I need to reference at a later date, I will index them here so that I know where to look for them later. And then we get into the notes pages. And the first chunk of notes pages I've decided to dedicate to my trackers. Usually, or previously, I had my tracker combined with my monthly collection pages. However, this year I've decided to just group them all together. So there are 12 pages for all 12 of the trackers. And I did this because I want my trackers to be a little more detailed. So I want to have a lot of space for all the things that I typically will track, as well as some things that I might graph and plot out, bar charts and all that other stuff. I really like data. I like to look at the data, and I also like to see it compared to each other. So I appreciate having them all grouped together. And this is something I first saw when I used the Wonderland 222 in 2021. At first I was like, I don't think I want them all together, but then I was like, I love them all together. So now for 2024, I've come back to just having them all together, and we'll see how it works out. And I'm using the horizontal numbers from Sterling Ink. I purchased these early 2023 or at the end of 2022. I can't remember. They were going to be used in my previous planner. However, the sizing of the boxes or the spaces were different for the Hobonichi Cousin than it is for the common planner. So they didn't quite work out for me. So I switched over to the ones from Randy Plans. So I still have these left over and I use them here. And then the month stickers actually came from the subscription kit for January. So do I have it here? Don't. So there was a page of stickers that was provided in the kit with numbers for the months and days. I don't know where in the world I put it. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I got the month stickers from. So I will definitely be adding more deco, especially as I plan for each month. I'm sure I'll use some coordinating deco from the sub kit that I'm using for that month, or the stickers and the washies or whatever, and some labels and all that other stuff. Still, again, I haven't quite nailed down exactly what those are going to look like, but I'm just going to play as the year goes on and we'll see what I like. But I did set up the number lines and the month numbers for each month until December. But I didn't have any left over for December because I had used one previously in my Hobonichi Cousin. That's when I realized that they didn't actually fit. So I opted not to write in the date numbers for December. Who knows what will happen between now and December 2024. Maybe I get more stickers. Maybe I decide on something else. So I didn't even waste the energy, but this is the page for the December tracker. Right after that, I get into my first order tracker for the year. So this is one of those collection pages that I'll have in my notes throughout the course of 2024. Usually one of these spreads lasts me, let's say maybe 3 to 4 months. And once I fill this up, this side and this side, I'll get to the bottom and then set up a completely new order tracker. And I do usually have it tabbed so I can easily get to it whenever I need to. And this is an order tracker, not an expense tracker. So I'm only tracking things that I've ordered, duh. So things that I've ordered online, I'm waiting for packages. I like to make sure I receive them, especially during times where I might be ordering a lot of stuff, let's say during holiday time. I kind of need some place to track what I should be waiting on because it's so easy to forget, especially, you know, if Amazon is sending like one order in 4 different boxes. I need to be able to track how many boxes are included in that order, or how many shipments are in that order, if I received it, when I received it. I also do like to look back on the date that I ordered versus the date I received it. So if I am purchasing something from a specific retailer and I know that they take like 3 weeks to ship something, I will likely not order from that retailer again if I can avoid it. So I do track those types of things here to see how long it takes for me to receive my orders as well. So right after that order tracker, I have a 2-page spread that I don't necessarily have a purpose for yet. On the left-hand side is a blank page, and I'm pretty sure there could be a collection that'll come up sometime soon, sometime within the coming days or weeks. And I tipped in another printout that I made on Canva. So if you'll notice, it's actually the same quotes and images from this one that I did. I just made them bigger, and it was double-sided. So it's one piece of copy paper that I folded in half. I only tipped in the one side so far. Originally, I thought that I would print all of these onto vellum. I was doing a test print for the sizing, and I just printed it on some really thin copy paper. And then I was like, why waste the ink? It looks just fine. I won't reprint this onto vellum. So I decided to double it and tip it in. Originally, I was going to also tape it on both sides just so it will be just like one fly leaf or whatever. But then I realized that this is something I would usually do in my rings planner. If I needed to store, let's say like passwords or something that was sensitive information that I wanted to keep covered if I'm flipping through my planner, especially on social media. This is an easy way to do that. So I would just, instead of being caught off guard or forgetting to put a sticky note over it or whatever, if it's any sensitive information, it goes inside of here, maybe written on this page, or I don't know how I'll use it, but I just have it parked here, and I decided not to tip in or not to tape the other side just yet, just in case I think of another kind of secret use for the inside of this paper. But that is covering my first task list for the year. So I've kind of rejudged the way that I'm using my task list. I normally call it like a task manager, but I'll have just a running list of things that I need to do. I don't separate it by month because I guess for multiple reasons. The task list, because it's so long, could span several months. A. B, if there are things that I don't finish, like let's say at the end of January, I don't want to rewrite them for February's task list. I can just flip to this page and, see everything that I have on my list. So this is going to be a running list until whenever it runs out. And then wherever I am in the notes pages, I will start a new task manager list. So that is for the first one. And I won't fill this out until, of course, when January 1st gets here. So my current one that's in my 2023 planner, whatever's left over on the list to do, I'll transfer it right onto here and hit the ground running. So here is where I'm getting into my collection pages for January. So here's where we're getting into the meat and potatoes, all of the collection pages, and then right after that, the daily pages. So I'm going to set that up again in the next video, but I did leave myself some notes of kind of how I want to do this. I'm also rejudging how this is going to work, but I will try out some layouts, test them out, and see how I like them. So another thing that I did, I kind of estimated all of the pages that I'm going to have throughout the course of the year. So I went from this first page starting January, daily pages, to the end, divided it out by the 12 months to get an average of how many pages it's going to take me per month, and then kind of did some backpedaling or some back numbering to see like how many pages I actually have for dailies, how many pages I would devote to my weekly reviews, and just stuck a little sticky note in there to indicate to me when a month may run out. Now, I'm not going to stick like stringently to these little sticky notes. Like if March needs to start before this sticky note, or if February goes after this one, I'm not going to do anything. I just want to leave it here to give me a rough idea. I could also write this down on a piece of paper because these pages are numbered, and I could just write down that January is going until, let's see, where is it? That January for me would be going from page 19 to page 47. Yeah. So I could just like write that down someplace on a piece of paper, maybe even in my index, probably on a sticky note. I think I might do that just so that I'll know, or just have a rough idea of how many pages I have to work with. That just helps me not use any pages wastefully, I guess, especially as we get closer to the end of the year. And then this little sticky note is actually, after I divided all of these pages into 12, I still will have, I think, 18 more pages left that are just, you know, free reign. So of course, if 1 month goes over, then I would be using from these pages, you know, to kind of take up whatever that overage or that surplus might be. So yeah, that's what I did. I went through and, like I said, kind of put those little page flags on inside the planner so I know where those parts are. And I also did a grid spacing guide. So this, if you're in like the bullet journaling world, you may be familiar. This is a grid spacing guide, and it just is a quick reference so you'll know how many spaces there are, grid spaces on the page. You'll know how to split it, if you want to split it in half, into thirds, and into quarters. That's as far as I went for my own use. This does come in handy. I don't do a whole lot of spreads where I'm splitting up the entire page, but you never know. And there are a lot of times where I want to know how many boxes across, you know, this particular page might go, or how many boxes down it might go, so that I can split up the information I'm putting on the page. So it definitely is a good reference that will come in handy. And then the very last thing that I created for my 2024 setup is, because I don't have a back pocket on here, I actually made this little pocket out of laminate. And I will attempt to put in an explanation here about how I created it. I did not film it. If I ever make another one, I will film it. But also, there are a few tutorials, if you do some digging, on how to create things like this using laminate. So the basic idea is I'm just going to slide this into here. And then I made a little pocket on this side. And on this side is like a sticky note dashboard. And that's where I will keep all of my stickers that I'm using currently for the month, or any other important papers that I want to hold on to. I can tuck them right back here. It doesn't interfere in any way in how I use the planner, and I always have them ready and available to me. I had to figure out a solution for my stickers. So my solution, or my thought, was to create sort of like a dashboard, and I did this using laminate. So this is not my first time doing something like this. I haven't done it in a long time, but I think previous videos you can see that. And I did pull out some of my older items. Where did I put them? To show you some of the things that I've made using laminate. So back in 2021, I think, that's what this 2-book planner system, when I was trying out how to use a standard size traveler's notebook for my planner, I created this cover, so to speak, and it's actually 2 traveler's notebooks inside of this little laminated jacket thingy that I made. And this outside part is actually vellum from Sterling Ink from like back in 2020 or 2021 or something. And so I made this little jacket or cover or dashboard, whatever you want to call it. And I was thinking along the same lines, what can I make to house my stickers? And my thought process, this is actually a vinyl dashboard from Chic Sparrow. My thought process is that I wanted it to be sort of like something I could tuck into this back sleeve and close it, and have my stickers in here, maybe use it as a sticky dashboard, and then have the planner sitting on top like that, and then just be able to close the entire cover. That was my idea. That's what I'm going for. Obviously this wouldn't work because it's a dashboard, so it's a little bit larger than, oh, it actually fits inside the slot. I didn't think it would, but it's wider than I need it to be, because when the planner's on top of this and this closes, this is going to be like hanging over the edge, which is what we don't want. So I needed to create something like this, and I was going to do it, you know, for free 99, or at least using the supplies that I already have on hand. So that's when I decided to use my laminating machine to see what I could come up with. So what I came up with is, and I'm trying to kind of show you these examples, give you this visual in case anybody wants to know how I did it. And you know, newsflash, this may not make a whole lot of sense to you, but I'm trying to give you a visual. So basically what I did, I took a large sheet of the laminate, which is this, and inside of there, I have the vellum that I chose to use along with a white piece of paper behind it. And the white piece of paper is only because the vellum is transparent and I didn't want it to be like completely see-through. I wanted you to be able to see the pattern very well. So I took the sheet of laminate and put this decorative paper inside of there, and then I did cut this down a little bit so it's not the full height of a regular traveler's notebook. I made it a little bit shorter just so that I could kind of tuck into the back of the cover without too many issues. And then I laminated the whole thing, and then once that was out, I folded it over, and I ran it back through my laminating machine. I'm sure you're probably not supposed to do that, but I did because I wanted it to crease and I wanted it to, you know, kind of fold and stay folded. So I did that, and then after that was done, I took a sharp, what do you call it, X-Acto knife or like razor thingy, and cut a slit between the top layer of the laminate. So it's not going all the way through. It's not going all the way through. It's just the top layer of that laminate and the top layer of that vellum. So that, now where I put my stickers. So I'll pull out my December stickers. I feel like this is a lot of talking. But anyway, so I did that so that I could put these stickers right into here. And the way this works, it is not perfect, of course. If I had to do it over again, and if this annoys me enough, I will make some corrections. So this side, I actually cut slimmer. The clear side, I cut slimmer than the top side, and I shouldn't have. I should have left it full width so that it hits the side of this before I want it to. And I'll show you. So in order for this to sit in, it has to sit before the pin loop. And if I had left this clear part on the back longer, I could have just lengthened it all the way to here so that it won't slide in too much. As it is now, it can slide in too much and then overlap on the pin loop, which is not what we want. But anyway, so the idea is that my planner, pull that up, will go in here as usual, and then this little sticker book thingy that I made slides right into there, and it kind of tucks in, and then everything closes up really nicely, really neatly. Like I said, in hindsight, I might have made that clear section a little longer so that this doesn't want to slide too much to the right and overlap the pin loop. It slides a little bit, not too much, but I want to make sure it stays as close to that binding edge as possible. So I want to make sure it stays there and then closes like that. So anyway, this is where I will be keeping my stickers that I'll use for the weeks and the months. And on the other side, I decided to just make a little sticky note dashboard where I can keep those page flags from Poi and Hun and a few, these are Post-it brand sticky notes here. since I'm missing that back pocket that I would usually put into my custom planner covers. So that's how everything's going to fit. I really hope that was clear. I don't want to do a tutorial, but if I decide to make a new one, I will be sure to film it when I do. So that sums up my 2024 planner setup. This is my daily planner, my daily driver. It does everything I need it to do. It has all of the information to keep me sane, all of the good stuff inside of it. None of the stuff I don't need. Like, I don't see any health and fitness stuff. I don't see work things. I don't see anything I don't need in this planner. It's all the stuff that I do need on a daily basis, and that's how I like to keep everything separate, and that's why this is pretty much the love of my life. So that is the entire setup. Thank you so much for following along on today's video, and I invite you to subscribe. I will be doing a whole lot of videos throughout the year about how I'm using this system and the numerous others that I have going on currently. So if you need some inspiration for planners, for journaling, and all that good stuff, this is the place to be. So please subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.